oh, this energy is something special. I need you to stop what you are doing right now. Because as I sat down to read for Virgo today, something came through that made me smile immediately. Not a polite smile, a genuine, this is so real, I cannot help myself smile. Because what Spirit is showing me about someone in your life right now has a quality that is both deeply tender and deeply knowing simultaneously. And that combination, the tenderness and the knowing, is what makes this reading so specific to you. Someone watches you. And I want to unpack that word carefully because watching in this context does not mean surveillance or obsession or anything that carries an uncomfortable edge. It means the specific, attentive, nothing about you escapes me kind of watching that belongs to someone who is completely, helplessly, and with full awareness of what they are doing, enchanted by you. They watch you the way someone watches something precious, something rare, something they cannot quite believe exists in the form it exists in, and that they are terrified of missing even a single expression of, because each expression is its own small gift. And they have discovered something about you that has changed the entire landscape of what they thought they were dealing with. Stay with me. Because this reading has layers, and the layer that comes after the sweetness is the one that is going to genuinely surprise you. Let me begin by describing the quality of this person's attention, because it is unlike ordinary attention, and I want to make sure you understand the texture of what you are receiving from them. When this person looks at you, something in them goes still. Not the awkward stillness of someone who does not know where to look, the specific, intentional stillness of someone who has decided, perhaps without fully making the decision consciously, that this is worth every moment of their full and complete attention, that whatever else is happening around them is less important than what is happening right in front of them when you are in their vicinity. They notice things about you that other people miss, the small things, the way your expression changes when something catches your interest, the specific quality of your attention when you are genuinely engaged with something versus when you are simply being polite, the way you carry yourself when you think nobody is watching versus when you know you have an audience, the small, unguarded moments that reveal the interior of you that you do not always make available to the general public. They collect these moments, not in a way they have decided to do, in the involuntary way that the eyes return to something beautiful without being directed to. They have accumulated, without trying, a detailed picture of you that goes considerably deeper than what most people in your life have access to. And what that picture has shown them is what this reading is about. I want to speak to the precious baby energy specifically because I think it is the most tender and the most revealing piece of what Spirit is bringing through today. In spiritual readings, when someone is described as watching another person the way they would watch something most precious to them, it carries a very specific meaning. It means the watcher has assigned a level of value to the watched that exceeds ordinary caring. That elevates the person and their perception to the category of something that must be protected and honored and never taken for granted. This person has placed you in that category. And the way they arrived there was through observation, through the sustained, attentive, nothing is missed watching that I described. Through seeing enough of you, the real you, to understand something that people who have not been paying this quality of attention have missed. They understand that you are genuinely rare, not impressive in the way of accomplishment or talent or any of the more commonly recognized categories of being impressive. Rare in the deeper sense, in the sense of being someone whose authentic interior whose actual values and actual character and actual way of being in the world is something that this person has encountered very rarely, if ever, in anyone else. And when you encounter something genuinely rare, the instinct of anyone with sufficient discernment to recognize it is to watch carefully, to protect, to make sure that the carelessness that causes rare things to be lost or damaged does not have the opportunity to operate in this case. That is what this person is doing when they watch you, protecting something they have recognized as irreplaceable. Spirit is downloading something very specific now, and I want to slow down to receive this properly. I am being shown the moment this person realized the depth of what you are, not the beginning of their attraction to you, which came earlier. The specific moment when the watching produced an understanding that went deeper than attraction into genuine recognition. Something happened, a moment where you did or said something that revealed a layer of yourself that you probably did not think of as particularly significant in the moment. A moment of genuine care for something or someone. A moment of principle, of choosing the harder right thing over the easier wrong one without making any announcement about the choice. A moment of unguarded tenderness that slipped through the composed exterior you generally maintain. This person saw it, and it landed in them with a force that they were not prepared for, because it confirmed something they had been sensing but had not yet had proof of. That underneath everything, underneath the composure and the capability and the extraordinary Virgo precision that is so present in everything you do, there is a heart that is genuinely, deeply, almost startlingly sweet. Sweet in the real sense, not sugary or performance sweet. The specific, authentic sweetness of someone who cares deeply about the things and people they have allowed to matter to them, who shows that caring in small ways that are not designed to be noticed, but that are noticed by anyone paying the right kind of attention. They noticed, does this feel like it is connecting to someone in your life, Virgo? Someone whose attention has had that specific quality of watching that I am describing? Someone who seems to see more of you than most people see without you having deliberately shown them more? Let me know in the comments. Tell me who came to mind. Now I want to get to the but, because the title of this reading promises a but after the sweet and spirit has been very clear about what that but contains. This person realized you are sweet, fully, completely, without any remaining doubt about the genuineness of what exists underneath your composed exterior. And then they discovered something else. Something that arrived alongside the sweetness. Something that, in combination with the sweetness, creates an effect in them that they were absolutely not prepared for. You have edges, real ones, not aggressive or harsh or unkind edges. The specific, clean, unmistakable edges of someone who has a very clear understanding of what they will and will not accept. Who can be completely warm one moment and completely immovable the next, without any contradiction between the two. Who knows their own worth so specifically and so completely that attempting to take advantage of the warmth simply is not a viable option. And this person, who had been watching so carefully and who had arrived at such a complete picture of your sweetness, encountered one of these edges, and the encounter changed everything. Let me describe what this discovery actually did to them, because it is the most interesting and most significant piece of this reading. They were not warned off. That is the first thing I want to say. The discovery of your edges did not produce in them the response of someone who has found something too complicated to engage with. It did not create hesitation or retreat. It created fascination, deep, genuine, almost frustrated fascination because the combination, the sweetness and the edges, the warmth and the immovability, the genuine care and the absolute clarity about what you will and will not accept is a combination that this person has not encountered before. And it does something to them that nothing else has been doing. It makes them want to be worthy of the sweetness, to be someone who is good enough to receive the warmth without triggering the edges, to rise to the standard that the existence of those edges implies. This is not a dynamic of someone being intimidated by you, though there is a healthy respect present. It is a dynamic of someone being inspired by you, of encountering a standard of integrity and self-worth and genuine human decency in the way you operate that is higher than what they have encountered elsewhere, and that creates in them the specific desire to meet that standard rather than to find a way around it. Your edges are not keeping this person away. They are making this person want to be better. Inhale with me, Virgo. I want to speak to something about what this combination, the sweetness and the edges, actually represents in terms of your own journey, because it did not develop accidentally and it did not come without cost. The sweetness is natural to you. It has always been there. It is the expression of a heart that is genuinely oriented toward caring, toward warmth, toward the specific Virgo quality of devotion that, when it is given completely and sincerely and without the performance of caring as a substitute for actually caring. The edges developed over time through experiences that taught you, sometimes gently and sometimes not gently at all, that sweetness without discernment creates vulnerability to people who will take advantage of it. That warmth without boundaries is not generosity, it is depletion. That caring about people does not require accepting whatever people give you in return for that caring. These lessons were not free. They cost something. There were probably periods where you went too far in one direction or the other, too open, and paid the price of that openness with people who did not honor it. Too closed and missed connections that deserve to be let in. Finding the specific calibration of warmth and discernment that you now embody was a process, a real one. And what this person is watching when they watch you so carefully is someone who has completed that process, who carries both things, the sweetness and the edges, in a proportion that creates something balanced and grounded and genuinely safe to be around for anyone whose intentions are honest. That balance is what they find so extraordinary. And they recognize it as something that cannot be faked or manufactured or acquired through anything other than the specific combination of natural gifts and hard-won wisdom that produced it in you. Let me speak now to what is building in this person as a result of everything they have discovered through their watching, because something is developing that I feel very clearly, and that is approaching a point of expression. They want to make their move. That impulse has been building for a while, and every additional piece of what they have discovered about you through their careful, attentive, nothing is missed watching has added to the momentum of that impulse rather than diminishing it. The sweetness made them want to be near you. The edges made them want to be worthy of you. The combination of both has created in them the specific, deliberate, I have thought about this and I know what I want quality of someone who is approaching a moment of action with full awareness of what they are choosing. But here is what Spirit is showing me about how they are approaching this, and this is the piece that I think is going to genuinely surprise you. They are being careful, not hesitant, careful. There is an important difference. Hesitation comes from uncertainty about what you want. Care comes from being certain of what you want and respecting it enough to approach it in the way it deserves to be approached. This person is approaching you the way you approach something precious, the same way they watch you with full attention, with the awareness that what they are dealing with has value that warrants the highest standard of care, with the specific intention of not being someone who triggers your edges because their approach was careless or presumptuous or failed to honor the full complexity of who you are. They are preparing to approach you in a way that honors the sweetness by being worthy of it. I want to speak to something about what this means for you and how you might receive what is coming, because I think it is important. You have been watched more carefully than you know. You have been understood more completely than you realize. The person who is approaching you has done their homework not in the strategic, calculating sense, but in the genuine sense of paying enough attention to actually see you, of having accumulated enough real knowledge of who you are that what they are about to bring to you is not based on projection or wishful thinking or the idea of you. It is based on you, the actual, real, fully observed sweetness and edges and everything in between you. This matters because it means what is coming is not going to require you to manage their expectations or gradually reveal who you actually are or navigate the specific disappointment of someone who loved the idea of you more than the reality. They already know the reality. They have been watching it carefully for long enough to know it thoroughly, and they want it, all of it. The sweetness and the edges and every combination of both that you contain. As I bring this reading toward its close, I want to leave you with the piece that I feel is the essential heart of everything that came through today. You are being watched by someone who actually sees you, not a curated version, not a projection of what they want you to be, the real, complete, full spectrum you that exists when all the layers are present simultaneously, the warm and the precise, the caring and the clear boundaried, the open and the immovable, the sweet and the sharp. And what they see when they see all of that together is not something that confuses them or intimidates them or sends them searching for a simpler option. It is something that genuinely moves them. That has become the standard against which they measure everything else and find everything else falling short. That is what you are to them, Virgo, the standard, the thing that made the bar too high for anything less to clear. And they are coming toward you carefully, intentionally, with full awareness of what they are approaching and genuine commitment to approaching it in the way it deserves. The precious thing in their life is you, and they have decided that being worthy of you is not too high a bar to aspire to. It is exactly the right bar, and they are reaching for it. If this reading touched something true in you today, please share it with a Virgo who needs to feel this energy. And leave me a comment below. Tell me how this landed. Tell me if you recognize the watching. Tell me if you have felt someone discovering your edges and responding to them with respect rather than retreat. I read every single word you share. Every story matters to me deeply, and I carry your energy with genuine care long after this video ends. Until next time, Virgo, someone sees all of you, the sweetness and the strength, the warmth and the clarity, and they find the combination extraordinary because it is